Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing Ex Machina. Um, you gotta mind if I don't know if anybody can hear the noise in the background. It's a fan going off. I need a fan right now because it's like fucking a million degrees outside right now. Like my bedroom where I do my videos is in an attic, so it's even more hot. It feels like a freaking oven. So I have to have this fan on at all times, and pretty soon I'll have hopefully an air conditioner in here, and I'll be going like every summer it does. But anyways, like I said, just got back from seeing Ex Machina. This is a movie that, like It Follows, I've been hearing a lot of good things about. It's one of those movies that it was under my radar for a goddamn long time until I started seeing like commercials for this thing nonstop. Like I really I had never heard of this thing until like commercials started popping up on TV. And I honestly, for the commercials, I didn't know what the fuck this thing was about. All I knew was like involving robots and Oscar Isaac, and that's about it. That's like all right. I don't know what's going on. It looks pretty. It looks pretty. Like from the trailer, I could tell the effects look pretty good. But I'm like, or for the commercials, like, it looks alright. Like at least it'll be a good looking movie. At least I don't know. But then I also was hearing really good things about it. A lot of good reviews have been popping up for this thing, and a lot of people have been calling it one of the best films of the year so far. But also, after seeing It Follows, I remember hearing all the same praise pretty much going to that movie. And if you don't know, I fucking hated It Follows a lot. I'm apparently in the minority, which I still don't understand how people will love that movie, and I still will not. But I was kind of like, oh boy, this could be another It Follows. I might end up hating this movie. And also, I finally got a chance to finally get around to seeing the trailer for this thing. I'm like, I don't know about this. I was like, I'm not really sure whether or not I'm gonna like this. It looks very weird. It's just like that was my initial reaction from the trailer. Is that this looks very weird. I don't know what to make of this. Like honestly, even like I wasn't even sure what the fuck this thing was really about from the trailers. But now that I've seen it, I'll say this: when the movie ended, I sat there for a few minutes and went, "Huh, that was interesting." That's the best way I could describe this movie. It was interesting. It was, in a good way. I liked this movie actually. I did. I actually kind of dug this movie. I would even probably put it like if I were to make a top 10 list right now of the best films of the year so far, this would be on it. Definitely on the top in the top 10. This is really good. This is a really well done movie. The stuff that's really well done is like there's some really good stuff in this movie that like while there are a couple of faults with this movie, the really good stuff about it kind of like outshines it. The two things I really loved about this movie were one, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is amazing in this film. He is a scientist that he seems like a pretty cool guy, but you can kind of tell that there's some shady shit about him, but you're not really sure what's going on with him. And he's really good. I like Oscar Isaac. He's easily becoming one of my favorite actors out there right now. He's really good. He's like, there's more about him, like even than he's leading on. Also the guy who's his apprentice or whatever, I forget what his name is, Domhnall Gleeson or something like that. I've seen him in movies before, and he's like always a supporting actor or something usually, and he's pretty good in this. I thought he had some pretty good moments, and I also really dug the shit out of that girl who played the robot. I want to know how they made that robot. That looked interesting. Like I want to see how they actually made that. It was actually fascinating me, like how they. Is that actually? I'll get into that in a minute, but she definitely brought a really good personality to the robot Ava, or the AI Ava, and her interactions with Domhnall Gleeson or whatever his name is really good. I like the chemistry between the two is pretty good, um, and I liked their interactions. I thought it was really well done. I also really fucking dug the shit out of the special effects in this movie. Like I said, Ava is amazing looking. Like, I want to know how the fuck they pulled that off. Is it doesn't look CGI. It doesn't look fake. It looks really good. Like, that's some really good effects there. I was like, wow. I was impressed by it. Because half the time it is just her face over a robot, or over a robot's body, and that's it. Towards the end, you get more of her looking like a human, but for the most part, you get her like just with her face being on a robot's body. It doesn't look fake. I gotta give points. I don't know if I don't think there was much of a budget for this film, but even if that is so, they didn't like it didn't look, the effects didn't look shitty, and also the production design in this movie is amazing. Like the whole setting, like the whole set is amazing. Like the whole research facility that they're living in is like really awesome looking. Really awesome looking. It looks beautiful. Like it's a beautiful set. It looks very futuristic and that kind of tone that it's trying to set. Also, go back to the robots, the AIs. It did have one really frightening effect that it's gonna give me fucking nightmares for the next week. That scene where the Asian, the silent Asian assistant reveals herself to be a robot, which I guessed very fucking early on. I was like, something's up with her. I was like, I guarantee she's a robot. She ended up being, but that's kind of getting to spoiler territory. But I think anybody could figure that out. But she has a scene where she peels off her face, and one of the shots is of her exoskeleton with just eyeballs sticking out, and it looks fucking frightening. I'm like, ah! Just that was my reaction in the theater. I'm gonna have nightmares for weeks now. Thanks, movie. That's what I felt with this movie. It's interesting. It's a movie that has some interesting ideas about it, about artificial intelligence, about how far we can go with it. It also talks about sexuality, which I'll get into that in a minute. And it talks about a lot of different. It's a thought provoking movie, and I don't want to go into too many of the ideas that it presents, because that would be kind of spoiling it. I just recommend going in this is one of those movies I recommend going in not knowing much about it. It's interesting. It's a fascinating movie. It is a little slow to get going. I can see some people not liking this movie because it is kind of it takes a while to get going. But it does have a really good payoff. I'll give them that. The last half of this movie is really fucking good. I was like, all right, where's this fucking going? I'm sitting there that's the whole thing with this movie. Even though it was a little slow to get going, I kept all right, where's this going? Where's this? I knew something was fishy with Oscar Isaac. I knew there was more to it than he was letting on. It was interesting. It just kept my interest the whole damn time. Honestly, I thought going in halfway, an hour into this movie, I thought an hour and about 20 minutes into this movie, I thought I was only at the 40-minute mark. I checked my clock, and I'm an hour and 20 minutes into this movie. I'm like, holy shit, this movie's almost over. I was like, holy shit, that should tell you how invested I was in. I was not bored. I was not checking my clock. it went by very fucking quickly. um, um, yeah, like I said, it's interesting. This movie though does have some weird fucking stuff in it. This movie is very weird. Has some very weird shit in it. Like, what the fuck was up with that dancing scene? That came out of fucking nowhere. That was like Spider-Man 3 territory. Like, there's just all of a sudden Oscar Isaac and the Asian chick are dancing. I don't know why. It's a scene that goes nowhere. It just ends with them dancing. You're like, all right, that was random. That was random. A scene where the main character just slits his fucking, well, not his wrist, but like his forearm for some reason, and he bleeds out really profusely, and then just smacks a mirror, and end scene. I'm like, the fuck was that all about? It's like, Oscar Isaac does bring it up though. He's like, I saw you on camera. I can tell you're like kind of losing it. No shit, dude. I was like, well, what the fuck? And like, that, I don't know. Like, I was sitting there like, why did he do that? And I was like, maybe somebody in the comments can tell me. I was like, is he trying to see if he's robotic? I don't know. But once he saw that he was bleeding, I'd be like, all right, dude. But he just kept cutting more and more. And I'm like, dude, you're human. Don't need to cut anymore. I think we figured that out. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck was up with that scene. That was a weird scene. It was a very weird scene. Also, am I the only one really disappointed that we didn't get any robot sex? That sounds really wrong, but I know it does. But hear me out. There's Oscar Isaac explains that she has basically a vagina. Ava has a vagina in this movie. She has like sensory motors down there that she can feel pleasure. And I am not making this shit up, alright? There's like a space between where a vagina is, where he can insert something in, and she can feel pleasure. I am not making this shit up. This actually is like almost word for word what he says in this movie. So, they bring that up, and I'm like, are they gonna go that route? Are they gonna go like, is he gonna end up fucking the robot? That'd be awesome. I was like, this movie would be like 5 stars if that would have happened. No, it doesn't. That would have been pretty fucking funny. Like, I was like, all right, this would have gotten the route of like her. Like, this movie reminded me a lot of her. Like some of the weird factors about this movie, like that scene. Like I said, yeah, reminded me of her. But this movie's better than her. In my opinion, a lot better. Her was just fucking weird and had horrible characters and just fucking God, I hate that movie. Yeah, but Ex Machina, I'll admit, I liked the movie. I did. I thought it was actually really good. I actually recommend it. It is interesting. It's an interesting, thought-provoking movie, and I recommend people check it out. It's definitely, if I were to go make a list right now of the top 10 films of the year, this would be on it. I don't even know if I could name top or 10 movies I really liked this year so far. That's how bad this year's been so far. But yeah, that's that. As far as previews, I only got a couple new ones. And there's a lot of independent movies. Amy, there's Amy Winehouse documentary apparently. That looks good. I was like, that could be interesting. I just saw that Kurt Cobain documentary on HBO a couple days ago. And it was like, this could have that kind of feel to it. This could be interesting. I was like, it's a very tragic story of Amy Winehouse. I like the little audio bits that was played out throughout the trailer. How she never really wants to be famous and stuff like that. She said she could never handle it if she did. And it's like, it's kind of sad. She was very talented. She was a very talented singer, and it's very tragic, what happened to her. And then I got the D Train, which sounds like a porno, which is Jack Black and James Marsden. Jack Black is a guy who's trying to do a 20-year high school reunion and nobody wants to go. But then he finds out that one of his classmates is James Marsden, is like a successful Hollywood actor. So he gets him to come, and so everybody else decides to go to this high school reunion to see him now. That's the plot of it. It looked alright. It looked like, I don't know. Yeah, I was like, alright, that looks alright. It looks like it could be a little decent. A comedy. I like Jack Black. When he can be good, he's really good. So yeah, like I'll give that a try if that comes to my theater. And then this one I want to see, Maggie. I've been hearing about this for a while, and I know it's only getting a video on demand release on. I think it got video on demand release today. That's the new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which right off the bat I gotta go see it because it's Arnold. It's a weird one. It's like his daughter's Abigail Breslin, and she's infected by a zombie. It's like a zombie apocalypse, and she's infected by a zombie. And instead of like keeping her quarantined, they let her go home for a few days before she turns into a zombie to spend with her family. Very weird. Like I was like, and like, you know, Arnold doesn't want to take her back to quarantine. Well, it's like, that could be interesting. It could be like a new take on a zombie movie, which you rarely get anymore. It's always the same shit all the goddamn time. So this is something actually different, and it's only getting a video on demand release, of fucking course. And it's Arnold. It's really weird. It's like, I mean, I know his last few movies have not done very well, and this movie actually, it looks like maybe Arnold's going into a serious role. I don't know. I mean, he's not the greatest of actors, but he can. But he's not horrible. I mean, so I don't know. I want to check that out. I'm hearing actually good things about it, so I'll check that out. All right, I'm gonna get off here. I'll be back next week with Mad Max Fury Road, and until then, I'll talk to you guys later.